Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in from. This is Megan and Karen back with The Vibe Online. We have been a little bit quiet the last couple of weeks. We do know that, but we have had so much going on in the business and life, and we're here to share it all with you. So today we are here. We're going to talk about money, confidence, relationships, belief, and stories that we tell ourselves. We're good at that, Meg, aren't we?
Oh yes, we've learned a lot along the way.
We have. It's been a very, very good but challenging journey, I would say, along the last sort of almost coming up 2 years, actually, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Time flies when you have fun.
Time flies when you're changing your life.
It sure does. I know. Gosh. Well, where
Oh
did we
yeah.
start with this one?
Gosh, well, we're going to be chatting a bit about our our shifts in the time that we've been in this journey, I suppose, throughout this whole journey, and the shifts that we've had in these particular areas that Karen just mentioned, what we were kind of thinking and our thoughts and where we were before we started this business, before we started this journey, and kind of where we are now, because the growth never ever ends and it's going to continue building as well. But it's a great kind of reflection and also a good thing to share with everyone, because you might see where me and Karen are at now and not kind of know where we've really come from or where we were, and actually resonate a lot with how people come into this business because we've been there.
yeah,
2 years ago, we were there.
we were.
Yeah, so it's really great to recognize the growth and the changes, and how this can happen for absolutely everyone.
Yeah, and it'll be great to, let us hear your experiences. What have you gone through that's similar, or are you sitting listening to us and you resonate with everything we're saying? Like, have you spoken to anybody? Have you shared how you feel? Like, it's really good to just chat, because what we've learned along our journey is that, talking about, say, money, we're going to start talking about money. We didn't know that each other had a money block. We didn't know that, money was the thing that was kind of like holding us back and making us fearful, as well as everything else. And then it's like you speak to somebody and you're like, oh my God, I felt the exact same way. How did you get over it? And then you have a conversation and a chat. So that's what we're kind of here to kind of share today, aren't we? Like all you guys, all you incredible listeners out there,
Yeah,
understand that it's absolutely normal to feel this way.
totally. And I think money is such, like, let's start with the money one, because
Yeah.
I think this is such a huge one and one of the biggest shifts that we've had and what we see people have as well when they come into this. So for me, previously, I always felt pretty uncomfortable talking about money. It
Yeah.
just wasn't really something that you ever spoke about. And whenever money was mentioned, it would always come from like a lack
Yeah.
state. So it'd be like, oh, I can't afford this, or I have to wait until payday. And it would always feel like I'm like grasping onto my money. Yet I would also have no issue whatsoever in spending my money on the weekends on food, nights out, booze, takeaways. We're talking like £200 maybe on a
Yeah.
weekend without even thinking about it. No thought to it whatsoever. Yet when it came to something that was important and investing into myself, or something that I wanted to do or to treat myself or give myself something that would benefit me in my life, it would always be a thought of, no, I can't do it right now. Don't have the money. Can't do this. And that thought process. And I've recognized that that's where I was, because now I'm, I've learned and I've understood how money works. And
Yeah.
especially the biggest key thing for me, the biggest shift for me was learning the difference between the asset and the liability. I've
Yeah.
mentioned this before on previous podcasts and I've mentioned it on my page as well. Like, that was a huge shift for me, learning the difference between those two, because I started to look at money so differently.
Yeah.
And then when obviously we invested into ourselves, into this business and into ourselves and that future, and then I was open to investing into more things that would actually benefit me and serve me, and
Yeah.
noticing that difference and that change.
Yeah, it's huge when you understand the change, like you say, of what is a liability and what's an investment. I never knew the difference when I was younger, and
Mm.
very much like you, I would just spend money. I was completely unaware, but when it actually came to spending money on the important things, that's when the fear kicked in. The fear was there, and I couldn't understand. Like, I'd quite happily like throw money away on, like you say, nights out, or just buying random crap that we buy because we want it, but actually it's not going to put money back in our pockets. It's just spending for the sake of spending. And living paycheck to paycheck, and then all of a sudden you've got no money left, and you're like, what the hell has my money gone on all month?
Yeah,
And
wow.
it just fritters away. But then coming into the business was obviously quite a big scary step as well, because there's a financial investment. And again, I could never understand the word investment. Like, what the hell
Seems
am
like a
I?
scary word, doesn't it?
Yeah,
The word
what am I
investment.
investing in? Like, what is this whole investment thing? So when we then started to work on the understanding and the true understanding of what it is and what the return of that investment is, then
Mm.
that's when the shift happened for me. And that was really important to know, that I'm not just continuing to live my life, throw money away, and I may as well just put a load of £50 notes on the fire and burn them, because that's basically what I was doing.
Wow.
So yeah, huge shift with my money mindset over the last almost 2 years.
Yeah, it's crazy as well, isn't it? And when you come into business and stuff, you look at money so differently, like, because obviously what we just explained. And I never used to look at my bank accounts or look at money coming in or out or track anything.
Yeah,
Bills would literally just go out willy-nilly. I'd have subscriptions and all kinds of stuff that I wasn't actually using or wasn't really doing much for me.
yeah,
But I never done anything about it because I was too scared to actually just face the money thing. I
yeah,
think that was a huge thing of just like, face money. It's
yeah.
not something to be scared of.
I
You
know.
want more of it, don't you? Face it.
Yeah,
See where you're at and see what you want to do. So when I started to kind of track my money in a respectable way, not in a way of like I'm holding on to everything. It's like actually it's my money, it's coming in, it's going out. Where is it going? Is it
yeah,
stuff that actually I need or I want or whatever? And then making changes like that, I then recognize when it's coming into me from unexpected places. For example, like we got a TV license reimbursement because we've basically not turned our TV on in like a year. And I was like, this is amazing. Thank you. I'm grateful for that. Whereas before I would have been like, okay, check is just like on the side for however much money, and you wouldn't really think of it a
yeah,
second, or I wouldn't have even chased that, would have continued paying a TV license. Well, I don't even use my TV,
yeah,
that's just money just coming out of my account.
yeah.
So yeah, huge changes in that area.
Yeah, yeah, massive. And it's really interesting to look back on yourself and see the growth that you understand. You If you want to live a certain life and you want to make money, you have to be prepared to face these things. Look at
Mm.
your bank account and actually understand where money comes, where it goes, how do you make more money, how can you invest.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah, and that's
That's a
huge.
huge one.
Yeah, you shouldn't be scared of money. Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
We'll get onto stories in a minute, but that is, a big stories are a big part of money mindset for sure.
Yeah,
And what I like about it now is from what we've learned and what we've understood and the change that we've made in our lives to be where we are, we can now help other people with that as well and recognize in them what the
yeah,
stories are and what their position is. And we get a lot of people, some people come in and they say, oh, I just don't have the money. And we're like, well, that's what we're here to help you with. None of us
yeah,
start with any money. So
yeah,
let's have a look at where you're at, what position you're in. Let's have a look at an overview. And then we start giving you ideas and tips and helpful information that's going to help you look at your resources so that you can change your life.
yeah,
That's where it starts.
definitely. And it's like, if nothing changes, nothing will change. So you have to
Totally.
take that first step to be able to make the change, to have the abundance of money coming into your life that will happen when you start shifting your mindset.
Mm.
And also that really moves on nicely into the confidence side of things as well, because not even do you just build confidence in yourself to do something that you never really thought you would ever do, or something you didn't want to do. You have to have the confidence to allow yourself to understand the money side of it, the business side of it, your own confidence side of it, the growth you're going to have, and kind of like map out the journey of where you want to be and how you're going to have to get over these confidence blocks to get there, because we all had them, didn't we? Like,
Yes, we do. We do. And it's like, it's a confidence and like an openness and an acceptance
yeah,
of where you're at, where you want to be, and knowing that to get to where you want to be, these little niggles and these overcoming these fears and these confidence blocks and these areas that in our lives where we don't feel so confident, they're going to
Yeah.
need to be overcome
Yeah.
in one way or another. And how fast or slow do you want to get to your goals? That's what the question is as well. Now, confidence is not built overnight. It's definitely done as a practice. And the
Yeah.
more you put yourself out there, I remember when me and Karen started, and Karen couldn't even turn her camera on, and now she's like at events doing lives, and it's mental the growth that can happen, but that only happened through doing it every time and getting on again and again and again and building that confidence in there. I
Yeah.
know for me personally, before I came into the business, I felt like I had confidence, which I did to an extent, but I was very confident and comfortable in the role that I played in my job.
Yeah.
So you have a job description or whatever, and I kind of took that as like a definition of my behavior and how I needed to portray myself. So Megan, as the events and hospitality coordinator, was confident, she was approachable, she was, this bright bubbly person, which of course Megan is, but I
Yeah.
was like making it that entity rather than embodying it and being Megan, which is like a bizarre thing to explain. I don't know if any of the listeners might relate to that in any way, but it's an interesting thing when you start to embody yourself as a person and like build that authenticity, because that's what builds confidence as well.
Yeah. And that's it. It's being true to yourself and not pretending to be somebody for society, and fitting in and feeling you have to act this way and be that way. And you're like, yeah, I'm confident in my job, I'm confident in my life, I'm confident in my comfort zone.
Mm.
Your comfort zone is not going to take you anywhere. It's not going to give you the growth. It's not going to give you the lifetime of travel or freedom or staying at home with your children or, doing something different. It's not going to give you the life that you're looking to create, because, ultimately everybody is looking for something, but to get there, something has to change. And then facing the whole confidence side of things was probably the biggest challenge for me. It was huge. Like, as Meg said already, I wouldn't even put my camera on, I wouldn't start a live. I've now spoken on stage and do lives, and I'm quite comfortable and confident. Yes, we still have moments where it's like, oh my God, I don't know if I could do this. And that fear takes over and your stomach sinks and you feel sick. And then it's like, I've just got to do it. And then as soon as you do it, it's like, it really wasn't that bad.
What was I worried about?
I'm still here. Like, universe hasn't swallowed me up.
Yeah, that's it. Our minds and our bodies will do that to us. They give you that kind of adrenaline slash fear feeling. I mean, me
Yeah.
and Karen would get it as well. When we first started this podcast, at the beginning of every episode, we'd be like, "Are you ready?" And we're both like hearts beating, pumping out of my chest. I'm like, but now it's like the more we've done it, the more we build confidence with it. We're like, right, let's just roll.
Yeah.
Let's just roll with it. Let's see
Yeah.
how the episodes go, and we definitely built confidence in that way for sure.
Yeah, we definitely have. And then also, again, building relationships is, with our listeners, with everybody that we speak to through the podcast and interact with and have conversations with, and find each other on social media and follow each other and build these relationships. This is something that's the beautiful side of this, that I kind of didn't even realize was going to happen on the back of these podcasts. Obviously we're here to share our journey and our story, and share the real raw truth of whatever it is we're talking about in whatever episode. But to be able to build relationships on the back of what we're doing and helping others on a daily basis by just being honest and giving value, and letting people understand that this journey hasn't come easy. It's not happened overnight, and we've been consistent in learning and pushing ourselves to get to where we are. And then we build these relationships with others that have come through and feel the exact same way. And then you never know what somebody's going through, what they're thinking, how they're feeling. And then you connect with people that have gone on the exact same fearful journey as you and experience the same. Like Meg, you reach out to people every day and have conversations with people that are stuck in the rat race of the London commute, that kind of thing. I connect with loads of people that have gone through divorces or trauma, or want to escape the 9 to 5 to be able to enjoy the outdoors, you know, and that's such an amazing side of it, that there's so many commonalities with the people that you speak to. But unless you actually speak and start having conversations, these relationships will never build.
Totally. And you don't recognize how many people are out there that feel exactly the same way as you do
Yeah.
until you have these conversations. You know, it's so easy to be caught up and, you know, get caught in your head or whatever and think, no one feels the same way as me. You know, I'm dealing with this XYZ issue, hate my job, hate the commute, da, da, da.
Yeah.
Trust me, you are not alone. You are not alone. Thousands of people are not happy or feel unfulfilled in their current position. They want more money, they want a different job, they want to be able to be free and travel, or, you know, create secure financial foundations for their family. You and I mean this in the most beautiful and politest and caring, respectful way. It's not just you. Everyone out there, like so many people feel the same.
Yeah.
And what Karen and I do, and our role almost, is to find those people and help them and say, I resonate. I was there 2 years ago and I want to help you get to where we are now. Let's take you out of that job. Let's get you to freedom. Let's get you what you want.
Yeah.
Because we've got one life. And if we're just spending it doing something that we're not comfortable with, like what's the point in that? You
Yeah.
know, so when we're able, and I I love these calls now, but I will be honest, when they first started, that confidence issue came in, creeping in. I was like, I'm going to meet a stranger online. What's going to happen? I mean, they must have felt the same as well. You know, my
Yeah.
first team members must have thought, I don't know who this woman is reaching out to me. I've applied for her advertisement and she's messaged me. Oh my God, she sent me a voice note. I can hear her voice. She's a real person. What the hell?
I can remember experiencing all that when I first got a voice note off Elisa. I was like, oh my God, she's a real person. All I wanted was information.
Right? So when I get on calls with people, I'm like, it's all right. Like, we're just normal people. We're just here having a conversation. Like, tell me
Yeah.
about your life. I'll tell you about my life. Let's have a chat and let's see if this is the right option for you.
Yeah.
And when you're able to connect with someone that feels, thinks, and believes the same and wants the same vision as what you do,
Yeah.
that is when the magic happens. And I just love those moments. You know, in a job, you don't get to choose who you work with.
No.
In business, you get to find your best friends and build team members who just have incredible visions and like inspire you. Like, I
Yeah.
get inspired by my team. And so it's such a nice thing to build. And one thing I'll mention on relationships as well is a key skill that I've obtained or built on is listening. And if anyone is listening to this, if there's something that I would advise or help people to think about when they're next in the conversation is practice listening to the
Yeah.
person that you're talking to. We've got such a tendency to hear someone but then be thinking in the back of our mind of the next thing that we're going to say,
Yeah.
rather than being present in the moment and really listening to what that person is saying, and then being able to respond off of the back of what they've just told you. And I
Yeah.
think that's something that I've really learned to do, especially with working online. And you get, you know, you meet people over a screen. Feeling that energy for a screen is very different to what it is when you meet someone in person. So
Yeah.
being able to like be attentive and present with people when I'm on calls and stuff is definitely a very special skill as well that we built.
Yeah, we have definitely. And there's lots of people. I've had so many conversations with people, I mean, in the business and out with the business. And they're like, yeah, but I'm hearing you. And I'm like, you're not listening to me though. Like you're hearing kind of like what you want to hear. You're picking points out of the sentence and the words I'm saying. But what I'm actually saying is you're not listening to that on a kind of on a deeper level. Certainly conversations I had a lot with my ex-husband, like, you know, for an example, like he did not listen. I don't think he heard me half the time either. um, I laugh about it now. It wasn't funny at the time. However, we digress as we do. We go on a tangent as me and Meg do. But yeah, you know, listen, to be able to develop the skill to listen to people is really, really, really important, because we all like to be heard and listened to. Everybody likes to have a voice and be able to speak freely. Of course, we should all be able to speak like that. So why do we not on the other side reciprocate that and use the skills that we have and actually listen and build the relationships on a deeper level? Really important.
I love that. That was a really nice way to end that one. Now we move on to beliefs and stories. Now, beliefs and
Oh,
stories, this is a continuous one, guys. When you go on this journey, there are going to be limiting beliefs galore. Like, you start with limiting beliefs, whether that's limiting beliefs around money, capability, belief in yourself, belief in the business model, whatever it might be. You're going to deal with those in the beginning, then you're going to continue on your journey and be like, great, I'm in a really, really good place and this is great. And then it'd be like, bam, you've got another limiting belief. What is it now? And you have to like uncover it a little bit.
yeah,
And that's where community comes in as well, which I never thought that I would feel so connected to people, because I've always been a little bit of a lone wolf in my time. But when I've been able to connect with like-minded people and then share with them, and because what happens, it's like tangent, guys, but when you're speaking to somebody, they can see in you what you may not be able to see in yourself. So rather than keeping something that you feel is limiting you, or something that you feel like you can't do, or you feel like you're at a ceiling in life and you don't know how you're going to get beyond it because you're trying and nothing is giving, you need to speak to someone that has either been there and done that. Karen and I, for example,
yeah,
come to that with us, or people that can actually recognize that in you, people that you trust and you respect, and that you can openly chat to and say, this is how I'm feeling, this is what's happening, can you diagnose what's going on? Because when you're able to identify those stories, if you're not able to do it yourself, which a lot of the time you can kind of train yourself to see those stories that you're telling yourself, because you've got to do a bit of inner work and be like, right, okay, I'm feeling this way. What am I actually telling myself? What is that thought in my mind that I'm feeling or believing? Identify it instantly. Because when you
yeah,
identify it, it's like, right, that's what I get to change.
yeah. It's listening to those little voices that creep in, isn't it? And not letting them take over and completely change your mood, the moment, what you're doing. You can be going through your day and you can be like on this really high vibration, and then all of a sudden it's like the thoughts come in, the beliefs are there, and then you
Doubts.
doubt yourself, and then the voices come in, and then you can really go in a downward spiral really, really quickly. We've been there, we've done it, and it's learning and sort of training yourself, like you said, Meg, there, to catch it and stop it. And then the so I sometimes wear, like, well, most of the time I have like a bubble, like a hairband on my wrist, and it's like you snap it like on your wrist, and it's like instantly it breaks the, I can't think of the word now,
Like a pattern interrupt type.
pattern interrupt, that's it. So it
Yeah.
stops that thinking, and it's like all of a sudden, like, it takes me back to that moment when you were a kid and you're doing something you shouldn't do, and your parents are just like, rah, 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 or somebody's telling you off for doing something. But then when the tone or something changes, or it's like, boom, all of a sudden something's just clicked, and it's like, oh shit, I really need to stop this now. I need to refocus. Like, where was I going? What am I doing? Like, what is the reason I'm doing all this? Why am I letting that voice in my head take over? I know that's not right. I know I shouldn't be doing that. I know I shouldn't be feeling that way. But it doesn't just happen. You've really, 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 you've got to practice it. You've got to practice everything in life. We're so programmed to live 95% in our subconscious brain without even knowing what we're doing half the time. We go about our day and we're like auto programmed to be that way. So to learn how to change your thinking and your thoughts and your beliefs and stories, and get rid of those voices, and we all have a little devil and angel on our shoulders when it comes to certain situations, but it's learning to be the higher power within yourself, to step into your subconscious mind, your conscious mind, to then sort of drown out the subconscious.
Mm.
That makes sense? Like,
Yeah, you're changing the kind of paradigm or the thought
yes,
process. So that pattern interrupt that you just said there, if you have a thought or a self-doubt or a self-sabotage that comes in, and I have plenty of experience with this, doing something like that, or just getting yourself in a different environment, or like snapping something on, or like doing a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
Yeah,
you know, a Mel Robbins type thing.
definitely.
Doing that is like you're interrupting that thought process and saying, that isn't me anymore. That identity, that self-sabotage, that self-doubt is not me. It's just a story that I've made up about myself, or a conditioning that I've been taught to believe. And actually, I have complete control
Yeah,
over how I feel, how I think, what I believe, and who I want to become. And so if you get those thoughts, recognize it, identify it, and then change that story. Like flip it on its head and be like, actually, I'm not that person. We have complete control over our minds. I'm not that person. I am this person. Make that new story. And every time you get that thought, no, I am this person. I am this
yeah,
person. I am this person. I am this person. And before you know it, you're going to be embodying that. And that is going to be that story change. You're not going to think that way again,
yeah,
because you've adapted your mind to believe something else, to believe that you are capable, to believe that you are this confident, outgoing, bubbly, beautiful person that is creating their dream lifestyle. You are that person.
yeah. It's also being aware of the comparisons that we make. Because when we start to compare ourselves with other people, that's when the stories creep in even more.
Oh gosh,
Like,
yeah.
I could never see myself doing that. Oh, I could never live that life. She's so lucky. He's so lucky. They're so lucky. They've created this life. Like, surely they were they were given it. They were gifted it. They were born that way. Nobody's born a specific way. Everybody has the ability to change. But what we've done is we've learned, we've done a lot of research and training and courses, and at the minute I'm doing a 21-day accelerated manifestation challenge, which,
I'm with you on that too.
so me and Meg are like on the same day doing it. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's great. I love it. The energy, the power, the shifts that come with it. And I was never a big believer of any of this before I started this business. I
No,
just,
you wasn't. I remember in the
no.
beginning you was like, this is a bit woo woo.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And still sometimes now my partner's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, just go do your thing. But the shifts that honestly come with it, I could not explain to you like how real it really is. Like it's, yeah, I've probably gone from being like a cynic to the whole, oh yeah, it's just woo woo bullshit. Actually, it's not. And everything that I'm learning about the universe and us and who we are and the shifts in the energy is just like mind blown. And then I think back to years ago, I was like, God, I remember I used to think of that, and then it happened. But I could never understand. I could never put them together. Like, oh yeah,
Mm.
just kind of actually what I did was I fucking manifested it.
Yeah,
I
it's like
didn't even realize.
spooky coincidence. No, no,
Yeah,
no, you just created that.
I I know. So now I'm like, this shit works. Like it really, really works. But you
Yeah.
have to allow yourself to believe it. Because if you don't believe it and you don't get rid of those blocks and you don't get rid of those stories, yes, the stories will still always appear, but you can learn how to shut them down and reframe that mind to the belief that you want and need to create that life that you desire.
Mm. It's learning to be self-conscious and self-aware of your thoughts and your processes, because you can be so conditioned to your way of thinking that you don't recognize that you're thinking in that way,
Yeah.
and you're in a state of a low vibration and you don't even know it,
No.
because you're just operating in your day as normal without thinking anything different. So
Mm.
when you start to learn more about the mind, how our mind works, how powerful they are, and start practicing these things and building these skills of checking in with yourself, thinking, how do I feel? How do I think? What is that thought that I've had? And then building on that to then be able to recognize it and change it. It's a skill and it's a practice, but it's one of the most powerful things that you can obtain. It
Yeah.
really is. So yeah, the stories and beliefs, guys, they're always going to appear, especially as you start to level up and you continue through your business and you become more and more successful. They're gonna come, but it's okay. Just see it as you might come to a roadblock and be like, right, okay, I've done this before. I can do it again. What is that? What am I experiencing? What is that blockage? And if you can't recognize it for yourself, ask someone else that has been in the same position as you, or someone that, me and Karen will chat, and then Karen might say to me, Meg, actually, I think I've got it. I think I recognize what it is in you, and then we'll chat it out. And I'm like, okay, what can I do now to change it? Lisa's great for that as well. We go to our mentor, and that's what mentors are for, guys, as well. So if you're coming into the business, that is what we're here for. Like, no, we can't build your business for you. You can do that, but we are here to support you through those blockages, through those changes, because you're gonna transform.
Yeah.
And you can't do that on your own, because like I said earlier, you're gonna operate the way that you've always operated unless you start becoming aware of your thoughts. And sometimes your mentor is the one that's going to be able to point that out in you.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit of tough love now and again because you might need it, but it's the best thing for you. You can have that open communication and say, right, yeah, I know where I want to be. What's it going to take? Let's go. We'll help
Yeah.
you get there. So yeah, it's really, really powerful when you gain a skill and you're able to recognize those stories and beliefs. But they're always going to be there, guys. So if anyone's thinking about starting the business or chatting to me and Karen, and you've got this fear or this limiting belief or this self-sabotage or self-doubt or anything, I want to speak to you right now and tell you that's going to be there. And I
Yeah.
want you to know that it's normal, but it doesn't have to be there forever. If you want to change your life, we get to recognize it and we get to work through it. Because not taking the move and continuously feeling that way is not going to serve you in the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely not.
it's not. It's not. So yeah, that was a little bit of a tangent, but
Yeah, that was a good one to finish up on. Yeah, really good. And do you know what, guys? If you're listening, if you already do your affirmations, manifestation, all that kind of stuff, then let us know, what do you do, how do you do it, and if you don't do it and you want to know more about how me and Meg are doing this and what challenge it is that we're doing now, then reach out to us, jump in our DMs. We're here always to share as much value as we possibly can. And if you want to learn about the business and how to get started, as Meg said, we all have fears that we come in with initially, but you will never understand or get through these fears if you don't talk about it. So our inboxes are always open. It'd be great to hear from all of you. And yeah, don't be fearful of speaking.
totally. Like, we're here to everybody to just transform their life and live a much healthier, happier, more fulfilled life. So
Yeah.
let's do it. We'll do it together. That's what we're here for. But hope that you have found some value in this episode today.
Yeah.
If it's your first time listening to us, then welcome. If you're a returning listener, then thank you so much for your support. Have a listen back on some of the previous episodes as well, and we will be seeing you very soon and next week.
Yeah, have a great day, guys. See you next week.